Welcome to the Mavens Do It Better podcast. And now, your host, Heather Newman.
In this episode, we speak with Agnes Molnar, Managing Consultant and CEO of Search Explained, who's an architecture and enterprise search for both SharePoint and Office 365. During Agnes's remarkable international career, she's collaborated with numerous renowned companies globally, architecting and executing their enterprise search implementations. Since 2008, Agnes has been consistently receiving the prestigious MVP award, Microsoft Most Valuable Professional, for both SharePoint and Office 365. All right. Hello, everybody. It's Heather Newman with you with Creative Maven, and here at Microsoft Ignite, and talking to a longtime colleague and friend, Agnes Molnar, and talking, with people who are Mavens, experts in their field. I think she's definitely a Maven in tech, and is wonderful. How are you today?
Hello, everyone. Hi, Heather. Thank you. I'm quite exhausted because it's been a long day and a long week, but at the same time, I really feel very good.
Good.
It's an amazing and very interesting event.
Wonderful. So, Agnes, tell everybody a little bit about your awesome company. So, female, woman-owned business, yes?
Yes, absolutely. So what I do is I do trainings and consultancy and also in-person workshops about enterprise search in SharePoint and Office 365. And, the name of my company is Search Explained, and I think it describes everything I do. I explain search in a language that makes sense for everyone. If I talk to business, I try to talk their language. If I talk to end users, I like to talk their language. So I really like, just explaining things, how it works, how you can make it work, because search is like a magical black box for a lot of people.
Right.
So you get the content in and you get some results out. But this magic is actually, it's complex, but it's not magic.
Right. I think you're magic, so maybe, I don't know. That's awesome. So, and you have a lovely accent. Where are you from?
I am from Budapest, Hungary, Central Europe.
That's wonderful. Budapest. That's one of my favorite words to say ever. So.
Yeah, we pronounce several things a little bit differently. So
yeah, fantastic.
We pronounce Budapest with Pest.
That's awesome.
Yes.
How long have you been in IT?
Since my birth, I would say. No, not really. So, well, it's been a long story because I was born in central Hungary in a very small town in a very poor family. We didn't have computer. Even in the school where I was in an elementary school, they did have computers, but only in the 8th grade you were allowed to go to the computer room, which had 16 Commodore 4s and Commodore 16s. So it was a big thing to get to that room. But I was very good at math. So my math teacher, allowed me to go to the computer room in the 5th grade.
Wow.
With the 8th grade boys and girls, which was a very cool thing, And I spent a lot of my time and afternoons in the computer room. But at the beginning, in the 5th, 6th grade, I wanted to become a doctor.
Oh.
So I thought, okay, it's fun to play. Play with computers. Yes, I was writing code, so I was developing games.
So you came out of the womb writing code.
Yep.
Yeah.
But just for fun. So I didn't have any plan with that. I thought it's just fun.
Right.
And then I don't know. I was in the 7th grade maybe when my teacher asked me, "Why don't you want to learn this?" Because those days at the universities we already had computer science and those kind of things. So she asked me, "Why don't you do this?" And I am like, is it possible?
Right.
So I went to high school. I did almost the same there, but I still didn't have a computer at home. I've got my first PC when I was 17.
Wow.
And yeah, after, at the end of the high school, I applied to the Budapest University of Technology and Economics for computer science. And yeah, I went there and stayed there. It was a very fun part of my life. I started my studies at the university, but after a few months, my parents told me they didn't have money for it anymore.
Oh, wow.
So they wanted me to move back home and start doing something, that I make money with. And, I can be, I don't know the right word.
Formidable?
Yeah, so so basically what I figured out, okay, I'm gonna start work, but I'm not gonna home. I'm staying at the university, I'm doing my studies and work at the same time. So I started to work, the school year starts in September, and I started to work in January. The same semester, actually, my very first semester. So it was 7 years until I've got my diploma in the end. But by the end of my studies, I've got 6.5 years of work experience as well. So it was really, really hard at some point. But now I am very happy for that.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you persevered through the whole, and just kept going and going and going.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So from the point of when I've got my first salary, after the first month, because in Hungary we get salaries each month, not every 2 weeks. So when I've got my first salary, I haven't accepted a penny from my parents anymore.
Wow.
Nothing. I was like, okay, you wanted me to work, I do that. I do that for myself, just, to be able to continue my studies and everything. And yeah, it was a big thing.
I can see from the smile on your face. It's something to be proud of. For
I
sure.
am.
And yeah, you should be, because that's a big deal.
Yeah.
To be able to fend for yourself.
Yeah. So back to your question.
Sure.
I was 11 when I started to play with computer. In other words, when I started to write code. And yeah, since then, I've been doing that in, different things, but still with computers.
Right. When did you start with SharePoint?
It was in 2001, with SharePoint 2001.
Yep, me too.
I was working with a company who just became a Microsoft partner that time, and they wanted to do a proof of concept, which was really funny because it was a Windows application that used the SharePoint search APIs to get data from Exchange. And the funny part was I was a developer. I was responsible for the backend, so I used the SharePoint APIs to get data from Exchange. But for more than a year, I didn't realize that SharePoint had a user interface as well. So for me, at that time, SharePoint was an API. But my next project was to work with SharePoint from a user perspective, to create some content management, or whatever. And yeah, and after that, I've got the stamp on my hand that I know SharePoint.
Right.
So at that company and at my next employees as well, I did several other things, but I always got back to SharePoint somehow.
Yeah, sure. And when did you start your business?
Well, it's my second.
Oh, that's right.
Second business.
Okay.
Yeah, I started the first one, which is still alive. So it's a funny thing. When my first son was born, who is 11 and a half now,
right,
we founded a company with my husband, which is a software developer company what they do, I mean, my husband still runs that company, so that's the funny part. They do SharePoint development, custom applications, and all those kind of things. So I used to work there for about 3 years. Then I decided to leave. And when I left the company that I had founded with my husband, a lot of people thought we've got divorced as well.
Oh, wow.
But no, it was not the case. I just wanted to do something else.
Right.
So yeah, I started to do working as an employee again for a company based in the US. But I still lived in Hungary, so
Right.
it was a really funny 2.5 years. And when I left that company, finally I founded this company 4.5 years ago.
Okay, it's been a while then.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's great. Do you love running your own business?
I do, yes. It gives me the freedom. Raising 3 children is really challenging.
Yes.
It's
and good
tough.
on you, sister. Yep.
It's so yes, I don't know how other mothers do that. I mean, working mothers do that, but I really need the flexibility and freedom that I get when I run my own business. Of course, it has another trade-offs that I have to deal with, but
Sure.
I think it's the best for me and the best for my family as well.
That's great. So, in sort of the women in tech area, or just, I know you read a lot, and you're looking at different things education-wise. Is there anybody that sort of lately or in the past bit that you really like what they're saying? Women out there who have blogs or books or talking about different issues or writing or any of that stuff. Is there anybody you pay attention to?
I know you are not expecting this answer, but my answer is you. No, I really...
I didn't pay her to say that, actually. Oh, thank you.
No, but really, on whatever you write on Medium and your Facebook post and everything, you give me so much inspiration.
Thank you.
No, really, I really mean that. So if anybody asked me, I would say the same.
Wow, that's... Well, all right then. Well, thank you, hon. Absolutely, that's great. So, well, cool. And for this show, there's been lots of announcements and stuff. What are you sort of taking away from Ignite this year that's pertinent to you, or you just think pertinent to SharePoint in general and that kind of thing?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of very cool things and amazing announcements here. To be honest, I cannot be as excited as many people are. Not because they are not cool announcements, because they are really cool, but first, some of them are not really into my expertise. Second, some of them are kind of not messaging the way I expected, or not communicated the way I expected. But anyway, it's a cool conference,
yes.
and the announcements are really cool. I just really have a lot to do with, I have to digest everything.
Right, and you're
I have
expected
to
to talk
process.
to people, and they're asking you questions, and so you have to have that filter of like, okay, I'm taking in all this information, trying to understand it, regardless of how it's messaged.
Exactly.
And be able to put it back out into the community as a community. I mean, you're an influencer, you're a leader. How many times have you been awarded all kinds of great things? Like lots, right?
A lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So back to the beginning of my conversation, I want to be able to explain it.
Yes.
To everyone.
Well,
how
that's your company, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's great. Yeah. My last question for you is, I'm very interested in sort of those moments of awe, be they big or micro, that spark us to do something or that change us, or that something that happened in our life, and it can be about business, something in business, or just something that you kind of recall as maybe something that lit you up in a way that changed something for you, or something.
It's really interesting, because I travel a lot for events and conferences, and many people think that it's exhausting, and as a mother of 3, I should stay home more and those kind of things. But actually, even if I travel for business, and even if I travel and I am busy when I travel, those are a kind of me time when I have time, and I can be away from my home, my work, everything, to reflect. And so usually I get those moments when I travel.
Yeah. I get your little sparks. I feel the same way. I love that. I love my home. I love going home.
Absolutely,
but
yeah.
Also, there's something about a super clean hotel room that you can mess up.
No, but and I don't know. Like right now, the contrast is not the same, because we still, and it's a stupid thing, we still have a very good weather in Hungary. But I am here in Orlando every year for another conference, which is always in November or December, when we already have winter.
Oh yeah, right.
So those trips are always amazing for me,
Sure.
because I can get sunshine, it's
absolutely.
warm and everything. So even if I work hard and I don't know, I have lots of meetings and I do workshop every year and those kind of things. It's always like a vacation for me as well.
Right.
And I always go back with new ideas and
energized.
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Well, cool.
Exactly.
Yay. Well, so everybody, this is Agnes Molnar. She's fantastic and worked in SharePoint for a long time. She's I will call her a search maven for sure. She is an expert in that field. She has her own wonderful company, Search Explained. She's doing blogs, and she has wonderful courses, and she's doing webinars and all of that stuff. And where can we find that on the web? Where can we find you on the web?
You can find me at searchexplained.com.
Yep, searchexplained.com. And so Agnes, lovely, thank you so much for talking
Thank you,
with
Heather.
me. You're welcome. And I really didn't pay her to say that, but I really appreciate
I
that.
bet
That's
you
very,
didn't.
I know. This is very sweet. We'll get you later. No. So anyway, tuck in podcasts for Creative Maven, and everybody, let's lift each other up, and have a great day. Thanks. The original music on this podcast was created by Jesse Case.